Is Donald Trump a good role model for men?
That's an interesting one.
Given how many have gravitated to him?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's kind of part of a past-gone era in a way. He's very old school.
And yet here he is at this election campaign every week at the rally dancing to a gay anthem. YMCA by Village People.
Well, we are back today on the Piers Morgan Uncensored show. You know, I always like to check and see who Piers Morgan is talking to. Today is a pretty calm one. We're starting the new year off fairly quiet. Normally Piers has 3 or 4 guests screaming at each other. But today he's talking to a guy called Chris Williamson, who I only sort of discovered very recently. He seems like an intelligent young man. And in this clip, they're talking about Me Too and other things, the Me Too movement and other things. So let's get into it.
What does this actually mean?
Well, I remember also going back to the Me Too campaign, there was a weird thing to start with where all women must be believed.
Believe all women, yeah.
And I found that immediately, as a journalist, I just found that very incongruous. I was like, well, hang on, I've covered many court cases over the years where people have turned out to be lying, male and female, right? Why should you automatically believe people? Automatically listen to them, take what they say seriously if they're making allegations which are serious. But you don't automatically believe anybody, not in my world. You listen, I mean, you can tell me stuff now. I'm not going to automatically believe you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what the world is trying to do, whether it's with the climate change debate, really overblowing the level of intensity that the rhetoric needs to be having. You're gluing yourself to the floor, or you're throwing soup over a painting, or whether it's with Me Too, believe all women.
Don't you love those climatards who throw soup on paintings and glue themselves to roads? Sorry for breaking in, but listening to this stuff at the end of year, a lot of people, a lot of commentators are talking about things that happened during the year, and it is just such an utter clown world we are living in. Let me know if you agree in the comments.
Women, kill all men. You know, these sorts of campaigns, what they're trying to do is overshoot the target so much to actually come into land where they want. But that doesn't garner people to care more. What it does is it makes them feel like you're overblowing the entire conversation and it gets them to switch off.
Yeah.
I think, you know, Me Too probably was a reckoning that was needed to call powerful men to account for what they were doing.
I agree.
The problem was it sought to sanitize the toxic elements of male behavior, and instead it ended up sterilizing all of them.
Yes.
It made men terrified of women, and it made women incredibly nervous of being approached by men. So these gym videos, some girls doing horrible hip thrusts in a gym, and some guy glances over 3 times in 90 seconds. She tries to put it on the internet to flame him as, you know, this is a creep in the gym. So 2 things happen with that. First off, it makes men very nervous about approaching women in the gym. But the second thing is it gives other women a barometer for what is and isn't acceptable behavior by men. Now, thankfully, really interesting reversal of what could have happened. I think most people pushed back against those videos and said, I don't think that person's misbehaved. I think that you're being too sensitive, and that's actually not something you should pull them up on.
Yeah, I've seen quite a bit of that. Of course, in real life, a lot of this stuff, of course, happens on social media. And I don't really do social media for various reasons, not just because I'm old, 59 years old, going to be 60 this year. But because it does bring out often the worst in people, including in myself, you know, and real life is a lot different from social media. Now, I'm not saying social media is nothing, but a lot of this stuff does seem to happen amongst the terminally online. But I think this year, I do have hope that this year there's going to be some sort of, I think the pendulum is swinging back a bit on that. I hope Chris Williamson is right about that.
But had it have gone in the other direction, you now have a generation of girls, millions and millions of girls who have seen that video, who think, if a man looks at me more than 3 times in 90 seconds when I'm in the gym, I should feel uncomfortable. This is creating the very fragility that we don't want in women. We want robust, strong, competent men as partners, and we want the same from women too. But the more that you hypersensitize everybody to this situation, I don't think it's a good environment.
Andrew Tate would probably just say, what are those hoes doing in the gym in the first place? Or something like that. This is no Andrew Tate type personality, this Chris Williamson. He's very level-headed, it seems, from what I've seen so far.
Is Donald Trump a good role model for men?
That's an interesting one.
Given how many have gravitated to him?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's kind of part of a past gone era in a way. He's very old school.
And yet here he is at this election campaign every week at the rally dancing to a gay anthem. YMCA by Village People. The supposed biggest bigot in America literally choosing...
Maybe one of the gayest songs of all time.
The gayest song of all time. And now all of America is mimicking his dad dance to YMCA.
Yeah. Well, look, if that's what peak masculinity has gotten to, we've gone full circle from Andrew Tate to Trump doing the YMCA. Yeah, that's full metrosexual.
I mean, I think Trump, I could construct a negative characterization of him, but also, having known him 20 years, I can also construct a positive one. Mm-hmm. He has a remarkable resilience about him. He has incredible mental strength. I mean, we saw that when he actually got physically shot and got back up in defiance, and then got back on rally stages afterwards, which I don't think many people might have done. He's got an incredibly thick skin, thin one too.
It's an odd blend, though. It's an odd blend.
Well, it's almost unique in that he reacts to absolutely everything, but he can soak up everything. So most public figures, if they had a tenth of what Trump's had to take on and endure, would have crumbled. And they certainly wouldn't have come back from all the stuff that he's had. But he has got extraordinary resilience. I mean, and it's a really commendable trait, I think. I mean, his comeback story is for the ages. It's an interesting mix, though, isn't it, with him?
It's fascinating. Yeah, the fact that you have somebody who, by all accounts, is quite sort of fragile in their reactivity, quite easy to trigger. You saw this even during his debate with Kamala, that she was able to just throw
crowd sizes.
Exactly. And immediately the masculine urge to not be outdone at a rally surfaces. But on the other side of that, you're right. I mean, I said this on the show. I got a bit of stick for it on Modern Wisdom, but I said that when I saw Trump get up and do the fight thing, that was I think the first time where I saw him as an admirable person.
Yeah.
I'd seen him as somebody that did things that were kind of impressive or whatever, but I'd not really just spent that much time assessing him as a human. I thought, I don't know really anybody that could have would have done that. And 78, 77, ever old he is. And there is no amount of media training or contrived narcissistic pathology that can get you to be shot in the head and then within 15 seconds stand up and think and do that. It's deeper than that. And
it's absolutely deeper than that. Trump is a true alpha and not like this Gen Z thing, or is it Generation Alpha, where they're always saying alpha, sigma, this. No, he is a true alpha in the sociosexual hierarchy. And there's an excellent write-up of the sociosexual hierarchy if you look up sigmagame.substack.com. Sigma Game is a blog or a Substack written by a guy called Vox Day. Very much, if you're offended easily, don't read it. But his pinned post there is about what he calls the sociosexual hierarchy, and he defines the alpha, the bravo, what does he call them? Alpha, bravo, gamma, delta, omega. I think it's a because everyone knows a bit about the alpha and beta dichotomy, but that's just too. It's not. It paints in too overly broad strokes. You need a few more categories, and one of his categories is the sigma. As far as I know, Vox Day invented that category of a type of man, the sigma, and it's not really what all the kids are talking about on TikTok or on Snapchat or whatever the kids are on these days. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I highly recommend that. Sigma Game, Substack.com, Vox Day, written by Vox Day, sociosexual hierarchy. And so here Chris Williamson has put his finger on it. He recognizes that Trump has this trait, this character, and that is pure alpha male. Absolutely. Once you read more about it, you'll see it's exactly what it is.
I think that it's interesting you mentioned it on the show that we just did. How much of a turning point was that? Because we all made the same comment.
I think it was huge.
But we all made the same comment, which was how quickly the press moved on.
Yeah.
How quickly everybody forgot about that situation. And then there's a second one, and then there's the hot swap, and then it's Brat Summer, and then before you know it, it's October.
All right, that's enough of this. But I thought I'm starting the year off with some fairly tame stuff. staying away from the controversy, or staying away from too much controversy for now, just to get things off to a gentle start this year. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, leave them in the comments under the video. I've been reading all comments, replying to some. If you want to know more about anything, or if you have anything to comment on my commentary or on the video itself, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.